Hey guys, and welcome back to part 3 of this trophy thing that I'm doing. Can't even come up with a good name for it. Well, what did I say? Prattling on about platinums. Alright, let's just keep going. Lone Survivor. Boy, what a game. I really enjoyed this game. It's a PS Plus title. It's kind of like a survival horror game, like in 2D. It's really good, really fun. And there's just like this. Look at this. Like, discover the complete the game expert mode. Discover the green ending, blue ending, red ending, yellow ending, white ending. Complete the game without firing a single shot. Like, it was really good. Cannot recommend this game enough. If you have a chance to play it, it's honestly one of the top games. Very underrated. I don't hear it being talked about enough. Really liked it. Puppeteer, I think that was also a PS Plus. I don't think, yeah, I wouldn't have bought this. This was PS Plus. Did it have any co-op things? Yeah, I played this with my sister and we did it together, and it was a great game. Like, I actually really enjoyed it. It's got quite a lot of trophies as well. I think this is one of the biggest trophy lists. Let's have a look. No, not that button. 63, yeah. That's one of the highest trophy lists for a game that doesn't have any DLC, and you can see there they've like lumped in a whole bunch of bronze in there with 3 silver and a gold, and the platinum of course. But yeah, I really like this game quite a lot. It's kind of like Little Big Planet. In fact, yeah, if I had to compare it to anything, it's Little Big Planet would be it. And you know what? I think it honestly does some stuff better than Little Big Planet. There's like a lot of really good textures in the game. The design is in my opinion a lot more favorable. It's fun. It's probably more difficult than Little Big Planet, I think I'd say. Not that Little Big Planet's hard, but it's definitely up there. It's a great game. Vessel, what a great game as well. Cool, quite tricky puzzle platformer. All about like water physics and stuff. Really top-notch game. Like, can't recommend it enough. Look at everything's ultra rare, but it's except for this one here. Stomper flew into the turbine that created it. I can't even remember. I know that that happens kind of like in the I think at the beginning of the game, but yeah, top notch game on PS3. Doki Doki Universe, very weird game. You can finish it very quickly. I think, yeah, I did this all, I did it in 3 days, but I could have easily done it in 1. I can't even remember that much about the game, but yeah, very weird game, but very easy to complete, and yeah, bit of fun, bit of fun. If you've got a few hours to spare, play that. Strider, I didn't know Strider was was like a remake basically of a very old game on the, gosh, I don't even know if it was on the NES or the SNES. I think it's the NES. I think it was in the NES. On the NES it wasn't much of anything, but man, did they like update this game. Like, it looks cool, it plays really well, and it was just a fun game. It looks like it took me about 2 days to get the platinum. It was awesome, an awesome game. It actually reminds me a lot of, I think it's called Shadow Complex. I think it reminds me a little bit of that, even though Shadow Complex, well, no, Strider was as well. It's kind of, I think Metroidvania, right? So it's pretty similar to Metroidvania. It's, yeah, top-notch game. Don't Starve. Now, I'll be honest here, I actually didn't get this one. I didn't play this one. This was all my sister. She basically did it all for me, because I thought that she might like the game, so I said, like, here, play this, and it took her quite a while. There were some tricky trophies in there, especially unlocking West. That was probably the hardest one, but yeah, she did it, and she got it completely done. I definitely would like this game. It's kind of like a Minecraft style game, but yeah, I 100% would like it. But yeah, I don't know, for whatever reason, what was I, I think I was doing something else in June and July of 2014. I was concentrating on other games, so I was like, here, you take this one for me. So I will say that is probably the one game that I didn't do myself. Chain of Memories. Oh boy, Chain of Memories. How long did this take me? So let's see, that's the 17th of July, and then I got the platinum on the 19th. But I believe, yes, that's what I was looking for, 26th to the 10th. This took me 2nd of the 10th, 9th. This took me, I think, almost a year to complete. I can't remember why. I kind of... oh, I think it was, yeah, I think it was around the time, like, I'd started it, and then I was focusing more on PS Plus games, and then eventually I came back to it to try and knock it out, because it is a big game. This will take quite a lot of hours. The PS4 version I haven't played yet, but it's a lot more, how can I say, it's a lot more, gosh, like, I think they made it a bit easier. You don't have to complete the game 3 times, because you got, you know, clear Sora and Riku's story in beginner, standard, and proud. But I think if you just play on proud straight away, you can unlock the other 2. You couldn't do that with Chain of Memory, so you had to play the game 3 times with each character. However, I will say that at one point when I realized that I had to do that, I started looking up speedruns, and the speedruns for this game are really cool. And I got one, I think I did one in under 3 hours or just over 3 hours. So it was really cool. And the world record was like 2 hours something, so I did pretty well. Yeah, I want to play that one again, but I know it's going to take me, like, as in, I want to play the PS4 version, which I do have, but I know it's going to take me a while. Let's see, Doki Doki Universe again, just because I got a few extra trophies on that one. The greatest game of all time, probably, in terms of story and even gameplay. I don't know, some people don't like the gameplay. I thought it was fine. Hands down, best story of any game ever. Especially emotionally driven story. That's kind of like what I like to say about it. It's the best emotionally driven story of any game, and they really didn't go hard out on the trophies. They only made 24 for it, and then you got a whole bunch more with the DLC and everything. How much is that altogether? 50. Yeah, so they kind of went all out with the well, they put more in the DLC and everything, but yeah, not too many in the main game. If you haven't played The Last of Us, you have to play it. It's kind of like if you go on IMDb and you see movies you must watch before you die, Last of Us is a game you have to play before you die. It's just too good. Then you had the DLC was pretty tough. Like Left Behind is great as well. It's a fantastic DLC. And then you had Reclaimed Territories. I think this was like all online stuff. It wasn't too difficult. Maybe I had some trouble with some. No, those were on 2 days across the same thing, and then apparently I got all these on the same day as well. So those weren't too hard. And then Grounded mode was just like a difficult mode for more difficult mode for the game, so you got to play through it again. What was the hardest? It was like on Survivor and then Grounded in Grounded Plus. So you had to, yeah, I can't remember what the plus meant. Oh, it's probably like New Game Plus. So yeah, you had to beat it on Grounded and then beat it again. But there might have been some glitch around that. I can't remember. Let me have a look. When did I? Yeah, I got them at the same time. So I think I glitched it so that I could play Grounded mode plus straight away, and then not have to worry about The Last of Us. Oh, not have to worry about playing it on regular Grounded mode. Little Big Planet karting. Okay, I told a lie. I thought that Don't Starve was the only one my sister did. She didn't do all of this, but she did a majority of it. Especially this one here. Spending 24 hours active in create mode and completing 100 community levels. And I think it's funny actually. There was one person that said that sent me a message, but I don't remember if it was for karting or if it was for a different Little Big Planet game. They said like, thank you for making a level, like actually taking the time to make a level, and what was it? Yeah, thank you for taking the time to make a level and not just like copying another level and putting it as your own. You know, like, thanks for putting the effort in. And I was like, I didn't even do that. I had to get my sister to do it because I was busy doing other things. So congratulations to her. She's been a big help in like not a lot of trophies, but she's definitely helped in the ones that I mentioned and in other ways as well. So it's really cool. Road Not Taken, the name of a poem by Robert Frost, I believe. It's a great poem and it's a fine game. The only trophy that was really difficult was Keeper of the Book. That took me a while to get, and I think there was another one. Or was it just Keeper of the Book? Yeah, Keeper of the Book, I think. I mean, and now looking at it, it's like, oh, it was only 4 days that it took me to get, but I had to play a lot. And so basically it says discover 200 secrets. Secrets in the game are just like the objects that you find in the game. So you basically had to find all 200 secrets. I think it was 200 in total, and you had to find all of them. And there was just one that would not spawn. It's a roguelike game, so it's, you know, it's either going to spawn or it's not going to spawn. And there was one that just would not spawn. And it was actually one of the few times that I went on like YouTube and talked to another creator about it, and I kept commenting and saying like, how do you do this? Like, is this the way? And they really knew about it. And like, I made some like wrong assumptions in certain ways, and he pointed it out to me, and then I was like, oh, okay. And then I sort of understood more about the game, how it worked, and then I just kept playing, and eventually it worked out. Fez, created by now infamous developer Phil Fish, I believe his name is. I liked it, but there is no way that I would have completed this on my own. I mean, I like to consider myself a smart guy, but there is absolutely no way I would have beat this game without a guide. It is way too hard. This one, it was easy. RRL, RRLLL. You just had to press those R1 or R2 buttons in that combination and you get the trophy. That one was fine. But this one here, collecting all 32 golden cubes and 32 anti-cubes, it's just too hard. Like, the level of intricacy that went into this game is just insane. And Phil Fish, as much as he's kind of like a, I don't know, for lack of a better term, an asshole apparently, he was very, very intelligent, or he is very, very intelligent, and he came up with like a lot of really tricky ways to create puzzles and stuff that, you know, I guess mere mortals, you could say, couldn't figure out. Very, very difficult. Proteus, another one for my sister. There was a lot of my sister playing at this point. It was just like a walking simulator, a walk 'em up, but she played it for a fair bit, and she really liked this game. I think I did some of it, but she really liked this game, and was looking up how to do the trophies, and it was just a good two or 3 days there for her to work this out, and it was really cool. Just a short game. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but then again, I wouldn't necessarily not recommend it. It's a very, very short game. You could knock it out probably in an afternoon, a few hours or whatever. Yeah, it's very symbolic. It's a game all about symbolism. So if you're sort of more spiritual, then that's probably the kind of game for you. Pixel Junk Shooter Ultimate. Man, I went out on a limb on this one. Sometimes I didn't really have much to play, so I just kind of focused on trying to complete all of the PS Plus games, which I almost did. Basically, by the end of 2014, I had, I think, 8 PS Plus games left to complete, and I remember some of them, but I don't remember which ones were which. This one was alright. I actually really liked this game. Don't think I'd play it again, but I'd at the very least I'd look at how it was again, how I played it, because I don't remember much about it, but I do remember liking it. Pixel Junk Shooter Ultimate, yeah, and it's not too difficult. I think it took me, it's like 2 days here to complete it, so nothing too challenging here. Play the game at 11:11. I have no idea why that's a trophy, but that's what they decided to do. And look, I did it at 1:30. How does that work? That's weird. Because 1:30 there means 1:30 a.m. It's very odd. Okay, Trine 2, complete story. Trine, very weird game. Like, I don't know, there's something very odd about this game, but I did like it. I think there's a Trine 3 and there was also Trine 1. It's a very difficult game to explain. It's basically like, you have, I don't know if all of them had it, but it was 3 characters and they each had their own like abilities, and you had to use those abilities in a platforming manner so that you could get through the game. Oh, I've just realized what that means there with the platinum trophy name. Trying too hard, like you're trying too hard. I enjoyed it for the most part, I think. How long did it take me? 9 days? Yeah, it looks like 9 days. There were some really tricky trophies, so... but yeah, and it's a game that you can probably break, like, completely. There's just so many things you can do with the characters. And you can get past certain areas very easily, and, you know, in ways that probably weren't intended. So yeah, trying to complete the story. Pretty sure it's a PS Plus title. Don't know, tricky one, hard to say a lot about it. Sports Friends, I think I just played this for the trophies. I literally think I just played this for the trophies, and you can see here the same day, like 3 hours before, 2 hours before, and then I got on top, which is basically 30 minutes of just pressing the same buttons over and over again. I wouldn't recommend this unless you want a quick couple of trophies, you know, not too bad, but I wouldn't recommend this. A game that I would recommend though is Horde. Man, Horde was hard, but Horde is fun. I love this game. Cannot recommend it enough, and I don't know why it's not loading. There we go. Very, very, like, quite tricky trophy list. As you can see, these two are the hardest, the Mythical Hoarder and Legendary Worm. I think Mythical Hoarder was harder. And then what was it? Yeah. And like the Horde badges have something to do with, like a little bit to do with multiplayer and online. But you know, it's not impossible. You see the 1% rare instead of 0.1% and 1.1% ultra, I should say 1% ultra rare instead of 0.1% ultra rare and 1.1%. So it's not impossible, but it is quite difficult. I think you need a second controller to make it a little bit easier. You can do it online, but I think it's easier if you do it with a second controller. Cannot recommend this game enough. If you have a chance, play it. It looks like did it really only take me like 4 days? I thought it would take me way longer than that. Apparently it took me 4 days. Really freaking awesome game. It's kind of like, it's got a little bit of like an RTS aspect to it, kind of like a Warcraft thing. But it's all about just like using a dragon to hoard collectibles into a massive collectible until you reach a certain limit, and then you beat the stage, and then you have to, it gets a bit harder, you know, they place different things in different places, then enemies come and attack you while you're doing it. So it is a bit of a, like, it's definitely tough, but man, I like one of the top games on PS3. Absolutely love that game. Cannot say enough about it. Okay, I'm not really into brawlers and like, you know, Smash and all that, but for whatever reason I chose to play this, and oh yeah, and then I got the DLC for it. This was probably like a $5 silver trophy, because I literally bought it, and you perform a level 3 super with Nariko on Fearless, which I guess is a map from memory. I think Nariko was also the Heavenly Sword main character, but I never played that game, and it probably is because it says the Heavenly Goddess. Yeah, so I purchased that for like $5, and then I did it at almost 3 o'clock in the morning. So go me for my 2014 self, late 2014 self. Look at this. It took me 2 years. Almost exactly 2 years. That's insane. I don't remember much about this game. It's definitely not a bad game, but it was you know, kind of PlayStation's attempt at a Super Smash Brothers. But, you know, you got to give Nintendo something, you know, so they have to be the best at something. So for Sony to try and make something in the same vein and fall short, I'm actually kind of like glad, because I don't want Nintendo to not succeed. Like I want Nintendo to kind of like thrive, just like a lot of other companies don't. And I mean, I think the Wii was the biggest selling system of all time and basically printed money for them. So it's not like they haven't had a good run of it, but I think Sony, in my opinion, has the better games. But yeah, anyway, I wouldn't recommend it, but if you want, I think there might be some online or something that was annoying. So those aren't hard. That could be boosted pretty easily. Winning an online match without dying. Okay, maybe, nah, it's actually not even that hard. Yeah, it wouldn't even been that hard. I don't know what took me so long to do it, but yeah, it wouldn't have even been that hard. Hotline Miami. Now here is a hard game. This is a fun game, but man, this is hard. You really need to practice a lot. Like, the more you play of this game, the better you get, and that's true for everything, but this one really, really matters how good you play. There's a few trophies. Oh, look, another Get a Life. That's the second one, Get a Life. Remember the first one was Unreal Tournament 3. Yeah, it's a tough game, but I cannot recommend it enough. I haven't played Hotline Miami 2 actually, now that I think about it. Maybe I should get around to that one day, but yeah, awesome game. Very, 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 very challenging. Bit samey, a lot of the same stuff happens, but if you're into story, you can actually play this game more than once, like keep playing it over and over again, and really take it slow and try and take in all the story. You probably won't regret it. It's pretty cool, like how they did it. It's yeah, top game. Dead Nation Apocalypse Edition. This was a PS Plus, wasn't it? Yeah, it must have been a PS Plus title. So yeah, and I had already played. Basically, the PSN went down in 2011. I think it was May, April and May of 2000. I can't remember. It went down in 2011, and we all got free games. And one of the free games was Dead Nation standalone on PS3. And so I played that, and it was an awesome game. And then I said, yeah, hell yeah, I'm playing it again on Apocalypse Edition. Awesome game, really, really love it. Again, very, very difficult. Have to do a lot of practice. This trophy's pretty hard here, surviving to round 10. I actually have a video on my channel showing you how to get that. So if you want to watch it, it's about like 30 minutes long. It's a little on the long side, but like just watch it and you should be able to get that, because it takes quite a lot of practice and knowledge of the game to actually survive to round 10. It's pretty tricky, but pretty good game all around. Probably wouldn't play it forever, but definitely getting all the trophies is not unfun. Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments. Decided to just grab this one day. I think I bought it. I paid way too much for it. I'm not joking. I think I paid 90 Australian dollars, which I know is like, you know, two euros and like 50 American dollars, but yeah, I still paid way too much for it. But I did like it. And I haven't played the second one yet, but what is it? The Devil's Daughter? Yeah, I haven't played Devil's Daughter. But I did like it. It's I think I just like the concept of Sherlock Holmes by itself. So this game was kind of like something I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna play it. And yeah, it was good. It was an alright story. I don't remember much of it, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 cases, so there's no shortage of content in there. And there's a few random things you have to do, finishing 45 mini games and puzzles without skipping. Yeah, so there's like a lot of, yeah. I like the design concepts for the game and how the developers, that was probably the more intriguing part, is like how the developers were going to design a Sherlock Holmes game. How are you going to make it feel like Sherlock Holmes? Alright, Dungeons and Dragons Chronicles of Mystara. I don't know why I started playing this. Again, it was just another one of those games that was on PS Plus, and I'm like, I've never really been into Dungeons and Dragons. I think that's next level nerd for me, and I haven't reached that level of nerddom yet. I don't know if I will, but one thing that I'm probably not into is like the board games like Dungeons and Dragons and all that. But I don't know. I could see myself probably like there being a chance that I could get into that stuff, but it just takes too much time away from what I really love, which is gaming. So this was pretty tough. Like it took me only 2 days apparently, but completing all the challenges for this completionist trophy was very difficult. There were some that were just didn't, like, I couldn't understand how you're supposed to do it, and to be honest, it's been so long. It's been, what is it, geez, almost 4 years since I did it, gathering all the treasures and completing all the challenges. But yeah, it was still fun. I still enjoyed it. It was just really tough. I couldn't figure it out. Not recommended, but if you want, go for it. Dust and Elysian Tale. What an interesting game this is. This is kind of like it's kind of like a 2.5D puzzle platformer, more platformer and adventure game with like action elements. Yeah, you can perform a 1000 hit combo with your character who's like, I don't know, this kind of weird raccoon. I don't know, it's kind of like an animal, like a animal with human, sort of human qualities, you know, talks and all that. So, how long did this take me? Let's have a look. Looks like it only took me a few days. Yeah, a few days. I did like it, but I don't remember much about it. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing in this case. I seem to remember liking it, but yeah, I don't know. Actually, this game probably reminds me most of Child of Light, but it just has way more action to it. Instead of like turn-based combat, it's action-based. But it's sort of on the same level as Child of Light if you needed to compare it to something. One of my favorite games of all time, Final Fantasy X, the HD remaster, as well as its follow-up Final Fantasy X-2. I never finished Final Fantasy X completely, I think, as a kid. I got really, really far. I think I got basically all the way to the end, but I just couldn't beat the final boss. I can't even remember like I know who the final boss is, I just couldn't beat him. This one took a while, and I know the reason as to why. It's basically the person that I was watching play this, I wanted to follow them instead of doing it myself. I just wanted to follow their guide for it. And unfortunately, they went through a bit of a depression at that time, and they only posted like 5 episodes, took a long break, and then eventually came back, which was good to see. Similar to me, you know, kind of had a bit of a depression thing, and then took about a month break and came back, and that's, you know, I mean, it happens to people, so it's just sometimes how it goes. I like Final Fantasy X. I think the HD remaster's fine. It sucks that you can't skip the cutscenes, because it would be really nice to see some ultra quick speed runs of the game, but because you can't skip the cutscenes, you have to spend like 10 hours or probably like 7 extra hours or something getting through the game. So that sucks. But there are people who, I don't know how, but have like a ton of time on their hands to actually be able to do that. But yeah, Final Fantasy X HD remaster, awesome game. If you haven't played it, it's worth the play. 10-2, here's where even more polarization, or, you know, what's the other term for it? I can't remember. Anyway, it's very polarizing, because it was such a departure from what Final Fantasy X was, and they made it really like fan servicey. You've got the 3 protagonists are all female, and it opens with like a very sort of flamboyant kind of what do you call, dancing and singing scene, and I think a lot of people just didn't like that. I thought that once you actually get past that opening, the game is actually quite deep, and there's a lot to do in it, and it's I think it's really, really good. I used the guide for it as well. There was another, I don't remember the name of the person whose guide I used, but he had a really top-notch guide, and I followed it, and look, it took me, I don't even know, I think it took me 11 days, it looks like, to get it. If there's anything before 19, the 19th, it doesn't look like it. Took me about 11 days to get it, and I watched these videos over the course of 11 days, and I got it, and I was so happy. And man, trust me, like doing this game by yourself is really, really hard, because there's a lot of like 100%, it says here, complete 100% of the main story. That is really hard to do. It's not just completing it, it's not just doing all the side quests, it's like you have to talk to certain people and say certain things at a certain time, otherwise you will not get it. And you could be, at the end, you could be like 99.9%, but you forgot to talk to person X in chapter 4 at time Y, you know? So it is very, very challenging if you're going to play it. Like if you buy the 10 and 10 HD remaster, I would say that it's even more enjoyable if you're going for the platinum to follow someone's guide, because it's a very, very tough game. Yeah. All right, I got a few minutes left. Let's talk about a couple more. Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. This was kind of a dark horse. I couldn't believe how fun this game was. It really, really, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It took me, is that really right? It took me 1 week to beat this game? Damn. It's fantastic. It's a really, really great game. This is the hardest trophy in the game here. The Messiah defeated the Ur Dragon, but it's still not like impossible, and all you need to do really is just like look up enough information about it, and you'll be able to do it. But you can pretty much play it by yourself. You can follow one of the trophy guides on PSN Profiles, and I think it like outlines exactly what you need to do. Play it by yourself, enjoy the story, try and figure things out for yourself, and then when it comes to defeating the Ur Dragon, I'm pretty sure you can just like run around, collect the stuff that you need, and then keep trying. It took me several tries. I think it took me 3 or 4 tries, maybe 5 to beat it, but it's a fun game, and I don't even know if they might have remastered it, if I'm not mistaken, but if not, they should. Alright, last one. Let's talk about Mercenary Kings. Oh boy, now this one took me a while. Let me have a look. Okay, I see 7 days. No, hang on, there's more. So 9 days. There's no way it's 9 days. Was it 9 days? Okay, so here's the thing. It took me 9 days to beat this game, but I must have played non-stop for those 9 days, because I remember it's taking ages. I'm gonna have a look through the trophies real quick and see. I think it might be Hoarder. And no, I got that on the next day. It's not that one. Wait, I can... Is it this one here? No. 20 ornaments, 20 banners. Maybe it's that one. 602? No, 18th at 602. Here we go. Revive a teammate 10 times with the adrenaline shot. Nah, I think it was this one here. I think it was craft 20 ornaments and 20 banners. This game is very long. There's a lot of missions. Let me have a look. Beat the fastest time of all missions in the game. Clear all the missions in this game. Doesn't tell you how many there are, but it is very long and it's quite tough. And you have to do a lot of grinding for certain parts so that you can craft 20 ornaments and 20 banners. So it's a very long game, but I definitely enjoyed it. If you've got like, well, it took me, looks like 9 days. It took me 9 days to complete. If you've got like 2 weeks to kill and you just want to be playing, like you kind of want to turn off your brain and maybe catch up on a whole bunch of like movies and TV shows and stuff, this is the game to play. Play it a little bit first, get used to it, you know, try and figure out what you need to do for the platinum, and then when you get to the grinding section, you can grind it out and just watch your stuff. Definitely a recommendation for me on that one. It is just very long, so be aware of that. Alright, Kingdom Hearts 2 is next, but I think we'll talk about that next time. Yeah, because this is the end of episode 3 of this now. Jeez, and I'm like halfway there. Still a lot to go, so it looks like it's going to take me about 6 episodes to get through this, hopefully. Alright, so I'll leave it there, and we'll keep talking about games next time. I'll see you then. Bye.